About 3 weeks ago, my body asked me to stop. Not gently, completely. I was diagnosed with pneumonia, and they're not quite sure what else is going on. So I completed a course of antibiotics. I felt slightly better, and then I found myself completely unable to function. The kind of exhaustion where even small tasks feel impossible, and the body asks for sleep in the middle of the day. And my first response was not compassion, it was frustration. Hello, I'm Dr. Jaspreet Soor, a retired physician, transitions guide, and storyteller. And this is Between Thoughts and Being. Today's episode is called I Thought I Was Regressing, a reflection on illness, vulnerability, and the body's permission to rest. This is one podcast I did not plan to record, but the most honest ones rarely are. After years of inner work, nervous system work, emotional healing, spiritual practice, self awareness, I found myself wondering, have I gone backwards? That question carried a particular kind of weight. Not the weight of the illness itself, but the weight of self judgment sitting right beside it. I reached out to some of my mentors and teachers that I trust the most, and what they offered me gently, clearly, shifted something within me. What if this was not regression? What if this is release? There is something that can happen when the nervous system finally experiences enough safety to let go. We think healing should make us feel lighter immediately, more energized, more joyful. But sometimes healing first looks like exhaustion, like vulnerability, like the body finally saying, I cannot keep holding everything anymore. From a psychological and physiological perspective, this makes sense. When the nervous system has been running in a state of prolonged activation, think about periods of stress, periods of survival, periods of suppression. The adrenal system that helps us fight with this stressful time works overtime just to keep us functional. Cortisol, adrenaline, you name it, the whole chemistry of pushing through puts things into motion. And then healing begins. The system starts to downregulate. The vigilance softens. The body begins to finally exhale. And that exhale can feel like collapse. Not because something has gone wrong, because something has finally been allowed. The hardest part for me was not the illness itself. It was allowing myself to rest without guilt, stepping away from responsibilities at a time when things were growing and blossoming and there was so much to do. Allowing my body to be vulnerable at a time when I felt I needed to be doing more. But this is what I see again and again in the people I walk beside, especially those who have spent years surviving, years pushing through, years being the strong ones. When the body finally stops fighting, it can feel like we are falling apart. But perhaps we are not falling apart. Perhaps we're finally softening enough to feel. So for me, even after more than 2 decades of my own healing journey, this really humbled me, which told me that it was worth saying aloud, worth sharing with the world. Maybe healing is not only about becoming stronger. Maybe it is also about becoming safe enough to stop performing strength all the time. Safe enough to rest. Safe enough to receive support. Safe enough to break down without shame. If you are in a season like this right now, where exhaustion feels heavy, where vulnerability feels uncomfortable, where your body is asking for things and your mind is still resisting, I want you to know you are not weak for needing rest. You are not failing because your body needs care. And you're not going backwards simply because healing became visible. So today, I want to leave you with this. Where in your life is your body asking for something your mind keeps overriding? And what would it look like, just for today, to stop fighting that signal and listen instead? Sometimes healing begins simply by being witnessed in it. And if you want a space for that, I am here for you. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If something in this resonated, carry it gently. You do not need to understand it all at once. There is a blog post that lives alongside this episode, and it comes at the same experience from a different angle, and some of you will find more there. You can see it at my website, drsoor.com. That's drsoor.com. This is Between Thoughts and Being. Until next time, take care of yourself, not as a task, as a practice.